All right, let's dive in. Ever feel like something's off in the world, like a little out of whack? Well, today we're going to the Southern Ocean to look at a current that's slowing down and might be causing just that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's called the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, or ACC, and this thing's massive. Like, it moves 264 million gallons of water every second.
Wow, that's a hard number to even picture. 264 million gallons per
Mm.
second.
I know, right? We're talking enough to fill, like, I don't know, a zillion Olympic swimming pools every second. It's basically the heart of the whole ocean.
The heart of the ocean. I like that. That's a great way to think about it.
It pumps heat all around the planet, keeps temperatures balanced, does all this important stuff behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
definitely. It's like a giant mixing bowl for all the world's oceans.
Exactly. But here's the thing, this research we're looking at today, it's based on an article from Live Science, which in turn is about a study published in Environmental Research Letters. And this study, well, it's saying that this heart, it's starting to slow down
That's concerning.
big time. And you know what the culprit is? Climate change. Melting all that Antarctic ice and dumping tons of fresh water into the ocean. So today, we're going deep on how all that fresh water is messing with the ACC.
Okay, so the ACC, it's not just some random current down there. It's absolutely vital to how Earth's climate works. Think of it like this.
Mm.
You've got warm water flowing down from the tropics, right?
Uh-huh.
The ACC chills it way down. Then all that cold water gets super dense and sinks to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, okay.
And it travels across the entire globe, impacting temperatures and weather patterns thousands of miles away.
Wow. So that's how the ACC kind of keeps things balanced globally, like what did you say before, a mixing bowl?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But like I was saying, it also works like a giant conveyor belt. Distributes all that heat energy around the planet. Keeps everything from getting too hot or too cold.
That's pretty mind-blowing when you really think about it. But the research we're looking at suggests this conveyor belt might be losing steam.
Exactly. And the main thing messing it up is all that meltwater from the Antarctic ice.
Yeah.
It's like when you add water to syrup, it thins it out, changes how it flows. Same thing's happening in the ocean.
Right, it disrupts that sinking action that drives the current, right?
You got it. Less dense water, weaker currents.
Yeah.
And that has some pretty big consequences. The study estimates that by 2050, the ACC could slow down by as much as 20%.
20%, huh? Doesn't seem like a lot.
You'd think so, but when you're talking about a current as huge and powerful as the ACC, even a small change like that can have a ripple effect across the entire planet.
Oh, I bet. And I'm guessing one of the biggest ripples is rising sea levels, right? That's got to be a top concern for a lot of folks, especially those living near the coast.
It is a major concern. See, as that warmer water gets closer to the Antarctic ice sheet, it just melts it faster, which dumps even more water into the ocean. And guess what? A strong ACC usually helps keep that warmer water away from the ice, acts like a barrier.
So it's like a shield protecting the ice sheet.
Exactly. But as the current weakens, that shield gets weaker too, which means more melting, faster sea level rise. Vicious cycle.
Yikes, that is a vicious cycle. And I'm assuming the consequences for coastal communities could be, well, pretty rough.
Absolutely. We're already seeing the effects of rising sea levels. Coastal erosion's getting worse, flooding's becoming more frequent and severe, and then you've got salt water getting into freshwater sources. All huge problems. And if sea levels keep rising, all these problems are just going to get worse.
It's a bit scary to think about, to be honest, and it's just one of the many consequences of a slowing ACC. We also need to talk about disruptions to ocean circulation and invasive species getting into Antarctica. But before we jump into all that, I think it's important to mention the Antarctic Treaty System. What is that exactly?
Ah, yes, the Antarctic Treaty System. It's a pretty big deal. It's an agreement between over 50 countries about how we humans behave in Antarctica. Basically, it's there to keep Antarctica a place for peaceful scientific research and to protect its environment.
So it's like, hey everyone, let's keep Antarctica pristine.
Precisely. And as we learn more about this ACC slowdown and its effects, the treaty might need some tweaking to deal with those impacts. Like, think about things like fishing and tourism. Those activities could definitely affect the ACC, so we need to be careful.
That makes a lot of sense. Got to have some rules in place, especially when dealing with something this important. Okay, so back to those other consequences. You mentioned disrupted ocean circulation, which sounds pretty serious. What does that mean exactly? How does it affect us?
Well, the ACC doesn't just move water around. It's a major player in moving nutrients and oxygen throughout the whole ocean. And if that current slows down, Well, those essential nutrients and oxygen might not reach the places they need to.
Oh, so like it's messing with the ocean's delivery
Yeah,
system.
exactly. It's like the mailman's on strike and nobody's getting their packages. Could disrupt marine ecosystems big time. Think about those fisheries that rely on a healthy ocean, too. They could be in trouble.
So we're not just talking about warmer water and melting ice here. We're talking about changing the chemistry of the ocean itself. It seems like the ACC is connected to almost every aspect of the planet's systems. It's kind of like a canary in a coal mine, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I like that analogy, a canary in a coal mine. The ACC is sensitive to all those changes brought about by climate change, which makes it a great indicator of the overall health of the planet. Studying how it changes can give us really valuable insights into how everything's connected. The climate, ocean currents, ecosystems, it's all related.
Right. It's like a big, complex puzzle. And the ACC is a key piece that holds it all together.
Exactly. And if that piece starts to weaken, well, the whole puzzle could fall apart.
That's a pretty sobering thought. We've been talking about some pretty heavy stuff here, and it might seem like all doom and gloom, but there's got to be something being done about this, right?
There is, and we'll get into all of that right after the break.
Sounds good to me. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.